exactly is the biggest problem in our trucking industry? I know a lot of people probably ain't gonna like my answer, but let's kind of get into it. Is it broker transparency? Is it the rates? Is it undertrained drivers? Is it ELDs? I mean, what exactly is the number one problem in the trucking industry? I'm going to tell you what the number one problem in this industry is. Number one problem in this industry is us. It's the driver. The driver is the number one problem in this industry. And let me kind of go through some of those examples that I give. I said rates, right? Okay. Rates are at an all-time low, in my opinion, and they shouldn't be this low. Whose fault is that? It's our fault. It is the driver's fault that rates are this low. I know I heard a lot about, well, broker transparency. We need to know what the brokers are making, so we need to know what to charge. Because if the brokers are getting $6,000 for a load, we need at least 90% of that, because the brokers shouldn't get over 10%, or they shouldn't get over 5%, 3%. You put the percentage on there, it doesn't matter to me. If you're hauling a load that you're not happy with the rate you're getting, why are you hauling the load? Why are you even taking the load? If us drivers would get together, because we know the rates are low, if we'd get together and stop the division in this industry and come to a conclusion that, hey, we got to stop hauling cheap freight. We've been saying it for years, been saying it for decades. Heck, been saying it in the 32 years that I've been driving, I've been hearing it. But yet, we still just bitch about it. All we do is gripe. All we do is gripe. I've heard it for, like I said, for 32 years. We gripe about fuel prices. We gripe about rates. We gripe about other drivers. But nobody stands up and does nothing. They talk about standing up. They talk about shutting down. Every driver out there, if you ask them what needs to happen, they'll tell you the key needs to turn to the left. But it doesn't happen. No, it don't happen. Why? Because we're so divided. We're so divided in our hate. We're so divided in everything. It's ridiculous. You get all these organizations that pop up: UTA, FTA, DAFA, you name it. Put any 3 or 4 letter word, or 3 letters together and create a foundation. And it's drivers that mean well, but there's so much infighting amongst the drivers that it goes absolutely nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere. Like I said, I just don't get it. Let's talk about broker transparency even more. Like I said, if you're getting paid $6,000 for a load that the broker's getting paid $10,000 and you're not happy with what you got paid, whose fault is that? Is that the broker's fault, or is that your fault for hauling it for too cheap? Nobody forced you to take that load. Basically, broker's transparency just tells you what you should be charging. Well, you should know your numbers for your business anyway. I hear a lot of drivers say, "Well, what is the right rate? What should I charge?" Just because you think you need $4 a mile or $3 a mile, heck, I could do it for $2 a mile. But do you really know your numbers? Do you really know your numbers? At the end of the day, what a lot of owner-operators out here ain't doing, they ain't added their numbers up right. Well, I got a paid-off truck. It don't cost me as much to haul that load as it does you with a new truck. Are you sure about that? Yeah, you might save a few cents a mile, but are you adding in what it's going to cost you to replace your equipment? That older truck's going to need a new engine, because engines don't last forever. It's going to need an overhead. It's going to need an end frame. You're probably going to need new rear ends on that older truck. Are you adding all that in there? Oh, but I do the work myself, so I save money. So your time ain't worth nothing? Your time has no value? If I go to a shop, I'm paying a mechanic, ain't I? But I can save money if I do it myself. But like I said, does your time not have no value? I mean, on my extra time, I'd much rather spend it with my loved ones, with my family. If I'm going to spend it wrenching, I want to get paid for the time that I spent wrenching. Yeah, it's coming out of my own pocket, But you got to stop looking at things like that. Well, I'm saving money by doing it myself. No, it's costing you time. Time is money. Are you adding that and factoring that into your cost? There's all kinds of things that we don't look at and we should be looking at. But I'm going to digress off that a little bit. I'm going to kind of go back into, we are our number one enemy out here because we will not put our differences aside. Our hatred and our anger towards each other is what keeps us from getting together. You make a couple viral videos, and you look at the comments on those viral videos, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So many guys on those videos, on the comments, want to come and they want to belittle and they want to degrade you. They want to belittle you. Oh, you should be more of a professional than that. You should know better than that. You're an asshat. Just everything under the sun. Instead of getting constructive criticism, which I don't take it to heart anyway. I mean, my 32 years and over 3 million miles of safe driving automatically tells me that I'm doing something right. You want to know what I'm doing right? I take advice of those that actually have good constructive criticism and constructive advice, and if it makes sense, I implement it into the way I drive. I know enough in this industry to know that I don't know them half as much as I could know. There's people out there that know more, and I'm going to listen to those people. The people that want to belittle me, it goes in one ear and out the other. And that's what happens with new drivers not being trained, is they're getting degraded and made fun of, instead of somebody coming up and telling them, hey man, look, it might be a little easier if you do it this way. You might want to think about it. As soon as you yell at me or you call me a name, I'm done listening to you. The same thing happens when these drivers ain't being trained. If they're being belittled, they're not going to listen. I don't know. It's just kind of my 2 cents. I know I wanted to say a whole lot more, and I wish I was more articulate in it, but hell, what do I know? I'm just a dumb old hillbilly. What do you think?